Imagine stepping into a tournament where, like, absolutely everyone knows who the final boss is. Right now, in the Pokemon trading card game, that boss is Dragapult X.
Oh yeah, it is an absolute bulldozer.
Right, it hits fast, it hits hard, and honestly, it just feels practically unbeatable. But whenever a champion like that emerges, you always see two types of challengers.
Yeah, the ones trying to build a bigger bulldozer and the ones trying to dismantle the engine while it's
Mm,
actually running.
exactly. So today we're taking a deep dive into the Chaos Rising expansion. Our mission is to figure out if two Rising Challenger decks can actually dethrone this undisputed king.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Dragapult X is dominating, right?
Right.
So how are players realistically adapting without just, copying the winning deck?
Well, they're getting pretty creative with two vastly different approaches based on recent meta-analysis. One relies on surgical disruption, and the other,
The other is just absurd high-risk damage, right?
yeah, exactly, raw, high-risk damage output. Let's look at the surgical option first, which is Mega Greninja X. I mean, it's already putting up some really serious tournament runs over in Japan.
It is, and the sources actually describe playing this deck like fencing instead of arm wrestling.
Oh, I love that analogy. It's not just a vibe, though. It's a literal strategy. Like, you aren't trying to out-damage Dragapult head-to-head.
Right, because you just can't.
You really can't.
Mm.
Instead, you're sniping their vulnerable, unevolved Pokemon that are just sitting on the bench before they can even enter the fight. Plus, you're constantly forcing your opponent to discard the energy cards they need to, actually attack.
And what's fascinating here is why that kind of disruption matters so much right now. I mean, Dragapult X needs very specific resources to keep its momentum going.
Yeah, and Mega Greninja X just starves it of those exact resources.
Precisely. It really proves to technical players that a deck doesn't need the absolute highest damage numbers to be highly competitive. By forcing your opponent into these awkward positions where they literally have no cards left to make a move, you win through careful, agonizing resource denial.
Okay, so that's the lock pick. But, I mean, some players don't want to pick the lock.
They just want to blow up the door.
Exactly. And that's where the second challenger comes in, Beedrill X. This deck just completely abandons precise control for raw scaling power.
Yeah, the mechanics of Beedrill X are beautifully straightforward. Its attack damage literally multiplies for every other Beedrill you have sitting on your bench.
Which sounds completely terrifying.
Oh, it is. Plus, because Beedrill is a Stage 2 Pokemon, each one has a massive tool of health points. Once you get 3 or 4 of them out there, the math just becomes overwhelming.
You're suddenly threatening to knock out almost anything in the format in a single hit. But wait, I have to push back on this.
Go for it.
You just said the magic, terrifying phrase, which is Stage 2. For you listening, evolving to a Stage 2 means you play a basic Pokemon, wait a turn, evolve to Stage 1, wait another turn, and then finally evolve to Stage 2.
Yeah, it's a huge grind.
Trying to do that for multiple Beedrills takes forever. Aren't you just sitting there idle, practically inviting a fast deck like Dragapult to pick off your tiny bugs before they even grow up?
Well, yeah, you've hit on the exact flaw of the deck. It is the ultimate high-risk, high-reward trap.
So it's a massive gamble.
It is. Every single turn you spend carefully stacking those evolutions is a turn your opponent is actively swinging at you. If Dragapult knocks out just one of your middle evolutions, your multiplier drops.
And your damage output just vanishes?
Exactly. The whole engine completely stalls out. When it fails hard, leaving players wondering why they didn't just play this safer dominant deck.
So what does this all mean? Because whether you're meticulously picking off bench Pokemon with Greninja or, praying your Beedrill survive long enough to evolve, you have to build these highly specific decks.
Right, which means hunting down exact single cards to make the engine work.
Yeah, and how does that impact the collectors tuning in?
Oh, it creates a massive ripple effect on the secondary market. Collectors and investors watching this deep dive really need to realize that emerging competitive strategies completely dictate cardboard prices.
So the meta drives the market.
100%. A card like Beedrill X might be totally ignored on release day because, like you said, it's deemed too slow.
Right.
But the moment some rogue player pilots it to a surprise top 8 finish at a major tournament, the entire player base suddenly wants to try it.
Oh, wow. And they just scramble for singles.
Yep. Inventory dries up,
Yeah.
and you see a massive long-term spike in the value of the entire Chaos Rising set.
It's amazing how a single surprise tournament run can just rewrite the market overnight. So wrapping this up, Mega Greninja X is offering players a sustainable, technically rewarding path to compete against the best.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Meanwhile, Beedrill X is that flashy, high-stakes gamble that will probably fuel some incredible highlight reels, even if it burns out half the time.
Very true. Either way, they are injecting desperately needed variety into a solved game.
You really are.
But I'll leave you with a final question to ponder about this market dynamic. We know that the slow, three-step setup is literally the only thing holding back massive damage engines like Beedrill X.
Right, the evolution timer.
Exactly. So what happens to the dollar value of those exact cards if a future expansion suddenly introduces a mechanic that lets you bypass the evolution timer entirely?